Westminster Station to jump on Martin here. I hope you are doing well today. Now, what I'm about to do on this 26th of January 2022 is go visit some of the houses that Latin American liberators lived in London. You see, people like Simon Bolivar and Bernado O'Higgins, they came to Britain for a couple of years to raise funds for their cause. The thing was, the English were always against the Spanish in the colonial wars. I mean, England and Spain, they often fought over islands and lands and all. And you got to remember, like, England got most of the Caribbean, while Spain was basically given most of the Americas, what we now know as Latin America. So, Simon Bolivar and Bernado O'Higgins both came to London, spent some time out here, living in this country, and the best thing the British people ever did was give them support in their fight against the Spanish Empire. So today, first we're going to go out to Richmond, very south, at the end of the Green Line, the District and Circle Line, and we're going to see the bust of Bernado O'Higgins, and then we're also going to, see the house where Bernado O'Higgins lived for a couple of years. As a matter of fact, Bernado O'Higgins, who was of Irish blood, I mean, his father was born in Ireland, but lived in most of Spain, but Bernado O'Higgins also, came to England to do his education. Oh boy, what a long wait for the train to Richmond, 6 minutes. You see, I'm quite close to the end of the district line. I live on the other side of the district line, and then funny, I've been to Richmond a couple of times. Like, I was here last year to go to Twickenham and vlog P.L. Travers' grave. I've been to where Lord Attenborough is buried, and also the Richmond Cemetery. That is where Keith Raff of the Yardbirds is also buried, so check out my previous vlogs and that. Just gonna go Richmond for about an hour or so, vlogging all about Bernado O'Higgins. It's the end of the district line. I'm in Richmond. I've gotten here. It's not even lunchtime yet. It's almost 11:30. So let's go find that bust of Bernado O'Higgins, shall we? Well, as usual, it is good to be back in Richmond. I have not been outside of my boroughs in East London in 2022. Yes, that's correctly. It's the 26th today, and the two boroughs I live and work in, I just basically been going back and forth there every day for the last few weeks. Haven't even been in central London this year, believe it. So, I'm just looking for the house where Bernado O'Higgins lived in for a couple of years. And I believe he must have lived in this area when he came to England when he was studying here. Because, his father, sent him to study and work in the UK. And after his father died, he actually inherited, a lot of land in Chile. Okay, so I'm getting really close the house Bernado O'Higgins lived in, and it's quite fitting that there's actually a bust in the park nearby. But first, we're going to go see the blue plaque outside his house. So it's not down the street, as I've just checked my phones. It is down this alleyway nearby. Bernado O'Higgins, 1778, 1842, general statesman and liberator of Chile, lived and studied here. There's a plaque. I initially thought I was in the wrong location. I went down that alleyway and didn't find it. And as a matter of fact, the address given on Google Maps is actually a few blocks down that way. So, you can remember Chile did not become independent until 1812. So, this would have been like early 19th century that Bernado O'Higgins was living here in London, studying. It's quite fitting, the surname O'Higgins. That's very Irish. I grew up with a friend of mine in my grade called Scott Higgins. Not O'Higgins, but Scott Higgins. I kind of believe maybe he did have Irish blood and all. But as you say, maybe we all came from Ireland. So this parents' house, that is where Bernado O'Higgins lived in. The plot doesn't explain what time he lived here, but it just basically says he lived and stayed here in England. So, by standing here, this plaque, it's given me some inspiration that maybe in 2022 I do get to Chile, and I do get to visit Bernado O'Higgins' tomb. Because originally he was buried in a cemetery, but then all of a sudden, General Pinochet, after 1973, he moved Higgins' remains, like a similar type of tomb, yes, he moved it out of a cemetery and into this plaza near the Parliament of Chile, where the president lives. So, to get there, it's all underground and all, but the actual tombstone you see in Santiago de Chile is actually the same as like from the 19th century. So, now we're going to go find the bust of Bernado O'Higgins. So where I'm standing right now, this is Richmond. Over there, that is Twickenham. That river dividing the two, that's the Thames River. Yes. And coincidentally, not far from when he lived in London, is his actual bust to honour his memory. And here it is, right behind me. You see, every Chilean Independence Day, the Chilean Embassy in Kensington, they'll come here to lay a wreath in honour of the founder of Chile, and they'll do this every year, because, you know, it was only about 10 years ago that Chile celebrated 200 years of freedom from Spanish. So, look at the bust right here. It's got these medals, and some people have left, remembrance poppy flowers. I'm not gonna touch, but I kind of think that is quite symbolic, because O'Higgins was of Irish blood, and you gotta remember the British did help out the Latinos in their fight for freedom against the Spanish. So it says down here, General Bernado O'Higgins, 1778-1842, Chilean statesman, liberator of his country, lived and studied in Richmond upon Thames, 1795 to 1798. So I don't understand why that blue plaque near his house doesn't actually say that. It just basically says he lived and studied here. And here we've got a decent, colourful photograph of the man. Bernado O'Higgins was born on the 20th of August 1778, which coincidentally was the same year Australia was discovered here, the first fleet. He was the son of Ambrosio O'Higgins, an Irish citizen working for the Spanish crown, and Isabel Richmond, a member of the wealthy family from Chile. 1788, Bernardo's father was named Governor General of Chile, which meant his son would receive a formal education. This effect to Santa Peru, where he attended the exclusive Universidad de San Carlos, and on to Spain, and finally to Richmond. While he was in Richmond from 1795 to 1797, that he met the influential Francisco Miranda, Venezuelan. He was one of the key things and drivers of the American independence movement. At the age of 20, he left Richmond to initially return to Spain, and then going back to Chile, where his father died in 1801. Bernardo inherited the estate of San José de la Cantinas and began his life in Chile as a landowner before entering the world of local politics and becoming involved in the first campaign of the nationalist movement. After Napoleon's invasion of Spain, a meeting in Santiago on the 18th of September 1810 voted for a limited self-government until the Spanish throne was restored. Many people, including Bernardo, a limited self-government was not enough. They wanted complete independence and freedom. Aware of his limited military education, Bernardo began training with Colonel Juan McKenna. So that's another
English name. But following the disaster of Rancau, where O'Higgins' Patriot Army was defeated by the larger Royalist army, they were forced to seek refuge in Mendoza, Argentina, where they retrained and started to plan a strategy to gain Chilean independence. On the 21st of January 1817, the Argentine General José de San Martin, who also lived in London, together with O'Higgins, led an army of 5,000 men across the Andes Mountains towards the fatherland in the Battle of Cacambulco. They defeated the Royalist forces and took control of Santiago, the capital. In 1818, Bernado O'Higgins was named Supreme Director of Chile. After taking power, he created a republic and set the foundation for peace and order. He also introduced the great economic and social reforms as well as the Chilean Navy. Bernado proved to be a determined and energetic leader, and he went to establish schools, libraries, hospitals, and public cemeteries that would accommodate different religions. Unfortunately, his reforms were met with strong opposition from the powerful elite, and was forced to abdicate in 1823, abandoning the country for Lima, Peru, with his mother, sister, and son. In later life, he returned to Chile, but despite his ill health and physical deterioration, he was still interested in issues regarding his home country. O'Higgins died on the 24th of October 1842 in Lima, and in 1866 his remains were moved to Chile by the Navy. He was buried in the General Cemetery of Santiago before being moved again. On the 10th of May 2006, his father rested in place at the Plaza de la Ciudadana as recognition of his important and unequaled historic actions. Information supplied by the Instituto O'Higgins in London. So there you have it. Bernado O'Higgins, born in Chile, came to stay in London, was of Irish blood, fought for his country against Spanish imperialism, died in Lima, and now rests in Santiago. God bless you, General Bernado O'Higgins. And if you go to Dublin, you can also find another bust of the great man himself. So if you come to like London, don't forget to check out where O'Higgins lived and his bust here. And if you go to Dublin, you can also check out that bust there as well. I'm Martin the Metalhead. Over and out.
Right now, I'm in Bond Street, in the heart of London. Yeah, pretty sure I'm in Westminster right now, yes. So, we're looking for the house where Simon Bolivar lived during his stint here in London. And it's not far away. Because also, north from here is the house where the first president of Argentina lived before he sailed back to Buenos Aires to fight the Spanish. Shouldn't be too far away now.
Alright, Duke Street, City of Westminster, W1. Now the house Simon Bolivar is a few doors down from here. And as a matter of fact, they actually got two plaques. Got an old stone plaque and then a usual blue plaque. So here we are, Simon Bolivar, 1783 to 1830, liberator of Latin America, lodged here in 1810. And as you can see here, there's an old one. Simon Bolivar, our liberator, the great Latin American statesman who patriotically liberated Bolivar, Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, Peru and Venezuela, stayed in this house in 1810. So, you know, it was during the 1810s so many countries in Latin America gained their independence from the Spanish. And Grand Colombia consisted of Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Panama, and also, you know, bits of Peru and Bolivia. You know, Simon Bolivar, Bolivar, Bolivia, and you know, it's like in Venezuela, the Bolivar Republic of Venezuela. So, you know, this is history here. Simon Bolivar was a legend, and all throughout Latin America you can see statues of Simon Bolivar. Hell, when I was in Managua on Christmas Day, I found a statue of Simon Bolivar with the flags of Venezuela and Nicaragua, and inspired me one day that I should visit Venezuela, despite all the bullshit that is going on in that country because of Western imperialism. No, there is so much history in London. On every corner, blue plaques just like this. This is the statue of Francisco de Miranda, Venezuelan, lived at 58 Grafton Way from 1802 to 1810. Born in Venezuela, died a prisoner in Spain. You see, this guy had a lot of alliance to different countries, you know, being born in Venezuela, he was aligned with the Spanish, then he became aligned with the Venezuelans, he also went to Russia and was in line with the Russians as well, and he also got help from the British, but he was captured by the Spanish and taken back to Spain as a prisoner, where he died there and was buried in a mass grave. So in Caracas, Venezuela, there is an empty coffin in a cathedral with his name on it, in the hopes that one day his remains will be found. So, to honour his stay in London at 58 Grafton Way, they put up a statue of him. And so here we are at number 58. This is the house where Francisco de Miranda, precursor of Latin American independence, lived here from 1802 to 1810, and also another one of his friends, another Venezuelan, Bello, poet, jurist, philologist, and Venezuelan patriot, lived here in 1810. So they got this in Spanish. Lived in the house between 1803 and 1810, born in Caracas, Venezuela, and he was the fourth runner of the independence of the republics of Latin America. Here he met in 1810 the liberator Simon Bolivar. And because this is in Spanish, I'm trying to learn Spanish myself recently. Vivió en esta casa entre 1803 y 1810, nació en Caracas, Venezuela, y fue el principio de la independencia de las repúblicas de América Latina. Fue aquí donde se encontró in 1810 con el Liberator Simon Bolivar. And the funny thing was, the Venezuelan consulate is right next door. Could you believe it? Yes. So it's quite symbolic that two legendary Venezuelans, like, lived in this building, and then the Venezuelan government is leasing the building out next door in order to these two men. So, if you can, give a trip to Venezuela. Go to Caracas, go somewhere else in Venezuela. It'll be nice. Here we are, just north of Regent's Park, NW1. We have the location where José de San Martín, the Liberator, Argentine soldier and statesman, stayed here. It doesn't say what time he stayed here, but according to my notes, he left for Buenos Aires around 1811 at the end, and then he arrived back in Buenos Aires at 1812 to liberate his country from the Spanish. It's quite impressive how all the Latino countries in South America were really close to one another and helped each other out. I mean, José de San Martín passed away in Paris in 1850, and his remains are in a cathedral in Buenos Aires. So, outside the front door of the house that José San Martín lived in, I say farewell for today. Thanks for watching this video. Give it a like and a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you all next time somewhere in London. This is Martin the Metalhead.